A celebrity stylist gets on the stand, Deontay Nash.
And he said he spent pretty much every single day with Cassie. He said he saw Diddy and Cassie together. But then he said that Diddy would also refer to her as the B word. He would call her an SLUT.
Cassie Ventura, better known by her stage name Cassie, has long been appreciated for her gorgeous appearance, silky voice, and well-publicized relationship with music entrepreneur Sean Diddy Combs. However, beneath the glitzy headlines and public appearances, Cassie has a side that few people have yet to witness. Diddy's ex-stylist recently came forth with startling information regarding Cassie's personal life that may alter fans' preconceived notions. A bombshell is revealed by this insider who was close to Cassie and Diddy during some of their most tumultuous periods. Affair. Even more unsettlingly, Cassie's concealment from the public suggests a sinister pattern of abuse she underwent in secret. According to one stylist, Cassie's composed public persona concealed intense mental turmoil and a convoluted romantic life. Stylists are frequently the unseen observers of celebrities' lives, witnessing events that others do not. The covert contact with a significant industry person was more than simply a brief liaison. The subtle indications of abuse, such as bruises covered by makeup and abrupt mood swings, are much more concerning. The harsh truth Cassie had to endure was living mostly in silence. This insider account illuminates the unseen struggles that underlie Cassie's career in a field where silence is frequently rewarded. Cassie's fortitude is evident in spite of the suffering. This narrative explores survival, heartbreak, and secrets. A unique look beyond Hollywood's glamour serves as a reminder that even celebrities can have significant hidden difficulties. Prepare to reveal the truth that has been kept hidden for far too long.
How much time Deontay spent with Cassie, and he said he spent pretty much every single day with Cassie. He said he saw Diddy and Cassie together, though, about once a week, but that's still a pretty often time. And then he was asked, what were the names that Diddy referred to Cassie as? So first, Deontay was like, oh, baby girl, Cassie. But then he said that Diddy would also refer to her as the B word. He would call her an SLUT. He would call her a But he said it's the B word that was his favorite word to use in reference to his own girlfriend, that being Cassie. And he said, he being Deontay, said that Diddy would call Cassie an outright SLUT. And I'm sorry, guys, I know I have to be very careful with just the words that I can say on air, but Deontay explained that when Diddy would call her these names and when he would use these words against her, that Cassie would be sad. She would be depressed about this name calling. Deontay went on to explain that Diddy threatened Cassie a number of times, threatened to release her sex tape, send those sex to her parents, threatened to beat Cassie's behind, and it drove Cassie essentially crazy. She would cry, she would stay in the house. Deontay explained that Cassie would essentially cocoon up when Diddy would just call her these names, and Diddy threatened not to release her music, something that the government has talked about at length throughout a bunch of different witness testimony.
Who was the former stylist to Cassie Ventura? He testified to acts of violence, often seeing bruising on Cassie. He testified that at one point on a 2013 video shoot that Sean Combs also attacked him. A lot of violence, a lot of bruising, and a lot of blackmail. He said that he had threatened to release Cassie's videos, including to her parents, that he would get her parents fired. He would say things like, I'm going to beat you, I'm not going to release your music, I'm going to get your parents fired. And there were threats of blackmail, essentially, that speak not only to the underlying RICO charge, but also the elements of coercion for the enterprise's purpose of engaging in sex trafficking. You know, he confirmed that Combs helped Cassie's career and also his career. He confirmed that it's common for music labels to control the appearance of their talent, but then he went further to say that Cassie seemed to be the only bad boy talent whose appearance was controlled by Combs. Again, going to that element of coercion. I think this is a witness that the defense can argue is maybe biased, but he was overall a very strong witness for the prosecution.
Cassie and Sean Diddy Combs' relationship was one of the most talked about romances in entertainment for a long time. Many believed their love story was the ultimate fairy tale because they were frequently spotted together at prestigious occasions. But many who knew the couple well understood that the truth was much more nuanced. One of them was Diddy's longtime stylist, who had a close-up look at the highs and lows that go on behind the scenes. Early on, this stylist, who spent years working closely with Cassie and Diddy, started to see disturbing patterns. Even while Cassie seemed flawless on the outside, there were times when she seemed to be struggling more deeply. The stylist remembers that Cassie would arrive at sessions with her temperament changed from confident to withdrawn in a matter of hours, and the bruises were easily covered up by makeup. These were not single instances, but rather part of a trend that alarmed those who were watching. The stylist found out about Cassie's covert affair around the same time. This was not tabloid rumors, but rather a sincere, committed relationship that had been kept out of the public eye. While Cassie and Diddy's on-off status was known, what few realized was that during their breaks, Cassie found comfort and companionship in the arms of another influential figure within the music industry. Although this person's identity is kept secret, the stylist attests that this encounter had a substantial effect on Cassie's job path and emotional health. It's crucial to remember that Cassie continued to be active in her work during this time, but it appeared to stall. Projects were quietly canceled or postponed, and she made fewer and fewer public appearances. While managing a covert relationship and experiencing abusive episodes took a toll on her artistic productivity, the stylist believes that the emotional upheaval from her personal life was crucial in maintaining a facade of strength. The stylist's depiction of the abuse illuminates the hidden realities that many celebrities deal with. They detail situations in which Cassie was obviously upset, but felt obliged to conceal it to keep herself safe. Career and reputation. This involved keeping her circle to a small number of dependable friends and experts who could provide support and avoiding public conflicts. The stylist cites emotional manipulation and control as contributing contributors to Cassie's issues in addition to physical violence. Because of the domineering atmosphere, she occasionally felt alone and was afraid to publicly ask for assistance or speak up. Such voices are frequently silenced by Hollywood's protective culture, which creates a situation where victims feel caught between the dangers of disclosure and their desire for freedom.
And around this time frame from 2012, 2013-ish, again, when Deontay was still working with Diddy and Cassie, Deontay explained that Diddy threatened to do something to Cassie's parents. Now, they didn't elaborate what this threat was, but I'm sure once we get back from the lunch break, they'll kind of expand more on just that. But it seems like, from Deontay's point of view, that Diddy threatened Cassie a number of times. Diddy even threatened Cassie and Deontay that Cassie couldn't go out with Deontay and that she needed to bring her behind home, essentially, and that Cassie again would be referred to as the B word, and that Cassie would have to essentially do whatever Diddy said, whether it was how her appearance looked, whether her hair was down a certain way, whether it was up a certain way. And so I think as far as just the direct examination goes, yes, we did have a funny moment at the beginning of testimony, but really just getting into just kind of the weight of the testimony, it seems that Deontay is kind of, in essence, kind of giving more credibility to a lot of the other witness testimony, just about how mean and potentially forceful Diddy was against her. Well, I'm not going to lie, Jesse. I absolutely love everything about Deontay Nash being on the witness stand. He's funny, he's sassy, and look, when I see it, if I were to see an exhibit photo of myself and I looked in a beautiful in this glamorous headshot, I would tell the entire courtroom too that I looked fabulous and stunning, and there was just this eruption of laughter inside the courtroom. And so Deontay Nash definitely, at some points during his testimony, the personality is brought out, but he is there to talk about a lot of substance too, and that is just about his working relationship with Cassie Ventura, as well as even Diddy. He styled both of them. However, he did have kind of a better friendship and relationship with Cassie, and he witnessed a lot according to his time, or according to his testimony during his time while he had worked as a stylist with her. And so we're introduced to Deontay Nash around 12 o'clock-ish, right before the lunch break. He was the last witness who was called before we went to lunch, and so he was kind of explaining just how he had started working with Diddy and Cassie. He started off as an intern for Derek Roche, and Derek Roche was actually Diddy's stylist. And when Deontay is on the witness stand, Jesse, he's not even referring to him as Diddy or Sean Combs. He calls him Puff or Puffy. That is what he calls him by, and that's normally the name that he's familiar with. And so we do see that exhibit photo of Deontay Nash. It was a glamour shot of him, and of course, he said that he looked amazing and fabulous, and I'm sure the transcript read just that, but just being inside the courtroom, it definitely was kind of a good funny highlighted moment, and then it got more serious from there. So he was explaining that he had worked with Diddy and Cassie from 2008 to 2018, so about a 10-year period. Then we get into the 2009 to 28 time frame, which is a long time, but Maureen Comey, who did the questioning under the direct examination, was essentially asking some foundational questions just about
Cassie's perseverance is evident in spite of these difficulties. She gradually started removing herself from harmful influences and looked for other networks of support. The stylist remembers times when Cassie felt better. These glimmers of hope, whether by re-establishing contact with long-lost acquaintances or pursuing new artistic endeavors, point to a lady who is determined to take back her life and story despite significant challenges. The disclosures from this insider coincide with a larger cultural change in the entertainment sector, where abuse survivors are speaking out more frequently. The tale of Cassie, as told by someone who was present on her journey, gives this crucial discussion a strong voice. It draws attention to the pressing. In spite of the fact that Cassie has not publicly responded to these allegations, the stylist believes that their testimony would inspire people to acknowledge the unseen struggles that superstars undergo behind the scenes. It serves as a reminder that wealth and fame do not guarantee happiness, and that even the most successful people can face the most difficult challenges. As Cassie's journey progresses, this exposé serves both as a warning and a celebration of human resilience by bringing to light the realities that are frequently hidden behind Hollywood's glitzy exterior. Outside of the public eye, Cassie and Diddy's relationship was anything but straightforward. The stylist remembers that even though their love was very obvious, there were a lot of tense and secretive times behind closed doors. Cassie felt a lot of pressure to maintain a flawless image and to be under continual media scrutiny. It was about navigating an industry that frequently blurs personal boundaries and controlling power, not just about love. According to the insider's story, Cassie's private life was made even more difficult by the existence of a secret romance that she took care to conceal. The person involved in this affair was a well-known personality in the entertainment industry, who mostly worked in the background but had a lot of power. The stylist saw Cassie attempting to manage the public narrative, which was primarily about Diddy, while juggling this secret affair. This dual existence produced a network of contrasting feelings. Loyalty, fear, hope, and desperation caused a significant emotional burden. Additionally, the stylist draws attention to the minor but evident indications of the abuse Cassie experienced. These were frequently psychological manipulation, intimidation, and domination disguised by charm and luxury rather than actual force. The stylist reports that Cassie appeared withdrawn or nervous at times when her typical sparkle dimmed, indicating the hidden pain she was carrying, and that the bruises and scars she covered up with layers of makeup were signs of a deeper battle. With power dynamics that are regrettably typical in high-profile relationships.
For some reason, Big had to be at that party because Puff is the one who, and you'll see in Kirk Burroughs' papers, that Puff is the one who scratched out Big trip from going to London, and then turned around and lied that Big didn't want to go to London, which was a bunch of crap. You understand what I'm saying? Because he asked Clark Kent to go to London with him. He asked Clark Kent to go to London with him. And Clark Kent was going to go to London with him, God bless the dead. You understand? Clark Kent told that story. Now, in this trial, Cassie was telling how D-Rock and Puff was trying to line Suge Knight up. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to get in the fact that D-Rock has been with Puff since Big died. You understand? He went and did a little time, and when he was in jail, he was letting everybody know when he come home, Puff was going to take care of him. And he became head of Puff security, making sure Puff was all right. Puff also gave him that clothing line, which was Bully. It was Big's ideal, but it was Invisible Bully. You understand? Gave him that clothing line. They was doing a little work, and he was doing the t-shirts and everything like that. And I guess Puff was actually, paying him back for helping him get Big to that party. I'm glad Ms. Wallace ain't here, brother, to see and hear what we're finding out about D-Rock now and the things that he did and how he was, so close to Puff and doing some of the things with Puff. And it's crazy right now. I'm glad Ms. Wallace is not here to hear that because she was somewhat fond of D-Rock.
The isolation patterns were even more concerning. According to the Stylist, Cassie frequently had limited access to friends and family due to either circumstance or design. Because of this distance, she found it difficult to confide in people or ask for assistance, which continued the cycle of silence. In Hollywood, one's image is crucial, and Cassie had to decide between exposing the truth and preserving her career, a difficult decision that many famous people are all too familiar with. Cassie demonstrated incredible fortitude in spite of this. As she started to rebel against the limitations imposed on her, the Stylist noticed small changes. Cassie's path was one of regaining her voice and agency, whether it was by modest acts, of self-reliance, or discreetly looking for support systems. This, however, evolution was neither simple nor rapid. It required negotiating difficult emotional terrain and facing influential people who favored the status quo. The Stylist's disclosures coincide with the entertainment industry's gradual examination of culture of silence. Cassie's experience serves as a reminder that even people who appear to have it all are susceptible to exploitation and abuse. It also emphasizes how crucial allies are, people who are prepared to speak up and support survivors in ending the cycle of silence. Although Cassie has protected her privacy, the Stylist's statement is an important reminder that every glossy headline conceals a real tale that is frequently one of survival and hardship. This story does not only highlights Cassie's personal struggles, but also urges more awareness and reform in the sector that all too frequently permits such grim realities. It becomes evident as we dig deeper into Cassie's experience that her tale is about more than just romance or celebrity. In a society that frequently requires silence, it's about bravery, resiliency, and the continuous struggle for dignity. Diddy's former stylist's revelation of Cassie's story is a potent illustration of the nuanced truths that frequently lurk behind the surface of famous people's lives. The public's perception of glitzy gatherings, well-known partnerships, and flawless performances is simply a small part of a far more complex and concerning story. In between the bright smiles and red carpet experiences were intimate battles involving emotional pain, secrecy, and abuse that in the glamorous world of Hollywood far too frequently go unrecognized or unsaid. The road to fame and love is rarely simple, as this exposé demonstrates. Cassie's covert relationship with a powerful person, shielded from the spotlight and the abuse she experienced, highlight the negative aspects of celebrity. The narrative serves as a reminder that the demands of upholding one's public persona can drive many people to remain silent while disguising suffering with perfection. To maintain her job and reputation, Cassie had to endure secret, emotional, and physical traumas.
That's an effed up subject and situation, man, to even imagine that you got somebody doing that to somebody that you supposed to care about and you supposed to be in a relationship with.
Yeah, when I heard that, that was crazy to hear. Disturbing, man.
You can't make this shit up, bro. This is made for XXX TV. The stories that we're hearing about the things that Cassie has done, and we got these people out here believing that, she made this shit up. She ain't did this with nobody. I ain't seen not one of her ex-boyfriends. I ain't seen not one of the people that she dated in high school or none of that stuff come out and say that she was doing that way before she got to Diddy. So it is disturbing, bro. It's disturbing that he could brainwash her to the point whereas that she believing that she pleasing him and all his fetishes and everything by doing some shit that she's doing for him, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, she testified that Diddy, he'll rub male escorts cum on his nipples.
Bro, what do you want me to say about that? That's some nasty, perverted shit. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, when you that high and you into that, to me, that's the demonic, bruh. That's some old crazy otherworld shit. Excuse me for my language. That's some crazy otherworld stuff that people in their right minds don't even think of stuff like that, bruh. People that's not in a whole sense of being perverted, that's triple X type of shit, man. That's stuff that normal people don't even think of, man. How high do you get that you want another man juices rubbed on you?
What stands out most in this story is Cassie's resilience. Despite the obstacles, the control, and the fear, she found ways to fight back, reclaim her voice, and seek out support even in an industry not always known for protecting its stars. Her journey is a mirror of the wider movement within entertainment, a movement where survivors are breaking free from silence, demanding accountability, and inspiring change. It's a movement that calls for compassion, understanding, and a commitment to dismantling the systems that enable abuse. Moreover, this story emphasizes the importance of allies, those insiders, like the Stylist, who witness the truth and choose to speak out. Their courage in sharing these accounts is vital in raising awareness and fostering a culture that values safety and respect above image and secrecy. As Cassie continues to rebuild and redefine her narrative, her experience serves as a poignant reminder. Fame and fortune do not guarantee happiness or safety. Behind the scenes, many wrestle with battles unseen by the public eye. This expose encourages us to look beyond the headlines and celebrity gossip to recognize the human stories that deserve empathy and justice. In the end, Cassie's story is not just about one woman's struggle. It's about the broader fight for dignity, respect, and truth in an industry that can sometimes prioritize silence over safety. It is a call to action for fans, professionals, and the industry itself to listen. Support and advocate for those whose voices have long been suppressed. This revelation invites us all to reconsider how we view celebrity, reminding us that beneath the spotlight shines a real person capable of immense strength and deserving of genuine care. What's your take on Cassie's story? Comment below. I'm reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insider reveals.